Little girl leaves note on stranger's car. What it said shocked everyone. Asterisk. The parking lot of Riverside Elementary School was buzzing with the usual afternoon chaos as parents arrived to pick up their children. Cars lined up in neat rows, engines idling, while mothers and fathers checked their phones and waited for the final bell to ring. It was a typical Tuesday in October, with autumn leaves scattered across the asphalt and a crisp breeze carrying the promise of winter. Among the waiting vehicles was a beat-up Honda Civic that stood out for all the wrong reasons. The car's paint was faded and peeling. One headlight was cracked, and duct tape held the passenger side mirror in place. Inside sat Michael Torres, a 34-year-old single father who worked 2 jobs just to make ends meet. His clothes were wrinkled from his morning shift at the warehouse, and exhaustion was etched into every line of his face. Michael had been dreading this moment all week. Today was the day of the school's annual fall festival, and he knew his 8-year-old daughter Sophia would be disappointed when he had to tell her they couldn't afford the $5 admission fee. Between rent, utilities, and groceries, there simply wasn't any money left for extras. No matter how much he wanted to give his daughter the same experiences as her classmates got as he sat in his car, Michael noticed the other parents around him. They drove newer vehicles, wore clean clothes, and chatted easily with each other about weekend plans and family vacations. He felt the familiar sting of shame that came with being the parent who couldn't afford school fundraisers, field trips, or even new shoes when his daughter's sneakers developed holes. The school bell rang, and children began pouring out of the building like a colorful river of backpacks and laughter. Michael spotted Sophia immediately. She was hard to miss with her bright pink backpack and a gap-toothed smile that never failed to light up his world. She was walking with her best friend Emma, a girl from one of the wealthier families in the district, and Michael could see them talking animatedly about something. Sophia ran to the car and climbed into the passenger seat, her face glowing with excitement. "Daddy, Emma's mom said she can give me a ride to the fall festival on Saturday. Can I go? Please? All my friends are going to be there." Michael's heart broke a little more. He had been hoping Sophia would forget about the festival, but of course she hadn't. It was all the kids had been talking about for weeks. "Sophia, Mia, we talked about this. Daddy doesn't have the money for the festival right now. Maybe next year." The light in Sophia's eyes dimmed, but she nodded with the resigned acceptance of a child who had learned not to ask for things her father couldn't provide. "It's okay, Daddy. We can do something else fun." As they drove home to their small apartment, Michael felt the weight of his failures as a father pressing down on him. He worked 16-hour days, sacrificed his own needs, and still couldn't give his daughter the simple joys that other children took for granted. The festival was just $5, but it might as well have been $500. What Michael didn't know was that a pair of small eyes had been watching him from across the parking lot, and a young heart had been moved by what she witnessed. 7-year-old Lucy Patterson had been sitting in her mother's pristine SUV when she noticed the man in the old Honda talking to his daughter. Lucy was an observant child, the kind who noticed when adults looked sad even when they tried to hide it. She had watched as the little girl's excitement turned to disappointment, and she had seen the man's shoulders slump with what looked like defeat. Lucy's mother, Jennifer Patterson, was a successful real estate agent who had always taught her daughter about the importance of kindness and helping others. The Patterson family was comfortable financially, and Jennifer made sure to instill in Lucy an understanding that not everyone was as fortunate as they were. "Mommy," Lucy said as they drove home, "why did that man look so sad?" Jennifer glanced in her rearview mirror toward the Honda, which was now pulling out of the parking lot. "I don't know, sweetheart. Sometimes grown-ups have worries that make them sad." The little girl looked sad too, Lucy continued. She was talking about the fall festival, but then she got quiet. Jennifer's heart tugged, as she realized what Lucy might have witnessed. She knew that not all families could afford the schools, various activities and events, and she had always tried to be sensitive to that reality. Sometimes families have to make difficult choices about how to spend their money, she explained gently. That evening, Lucy couldn't stop thinking about the sad man and his daughter. She had been looking forward to the fall festival for weeks, excited about the games, the pumpkin patch, and the costume contest. But now all she could think about was the little girl who wouldn't be able to go. Lucy had been saving her allowance for months to buy a new doll she had seen at the toy store. She had $23 in her piggy bank, money she had earned by doing extra chores and helping her grandmother with yard work. It was her treasure, her ticket to the doll she had been dreaming about. But as she lay in bed that night, Lucy made a decision that would surprise everyone who knew her. The next morning, Lucy woke up early and carefully counted out $5 from her piggy bank. She found a piece of her favorite stationery, pink paper with little flowers around the edges, and began to write in her careful second-grade handwriting. "Dear Mister," she wrote, "I saw you at school yesterday, and you looked sad. I think your little girl wants to go to the fall festival, but maybe you don't have money. My mommy says sometimes people need help, and it's good to help them. I have some money saved up, and I want to give you $5 so your little girl can go to the festival. She looked really nice, and I think she would have fun. I hope this helps. From Lucy. I'm in second grade." Lucy folded the note carefully and put it in an envelope along with the $5 bill. She wrote, "For the nice man with the little girl," on the outside of the envelope, then tucked it into her backpack at school that day. Lucy waited patiently for dismissal time. When the bell rang, she told her teacher she needed to use the bathroom and would meet her mother at the car. Instead, she slipped out to the parking lot and began looking for the beat-up Honda Civic. Lucy found Michael's car parked in the same spot as the day before. Her heart was pounding with nervousness as she approached the vehicle, looking around to make sure no one was watching. She had never done anything like this before, and she wasn't sure she was allowed to leave notes on people's cars. Carefully, Lucy slipped the envelope under the windshield wiper, making sure it was secure so it wouldn't blow away. Then she ran back to find her mother, her cheeks flushed with excitement and nervousness about what she had done. "There you are," Jennifer said as Lucy climbed into the SUV. "I was starting to worry. Did you get held up at school?" "I just had to do something important," Lucy said, buckling her seatbelt. She decided not to tell her mother about the note yet. She wanted to see what would happen first. Meanwhile, Michael was running late after his shift at the warehouse. He had to pick up Sophia from after-school care, and he was already calculating how much the late fee would cost him. As he approached his car, he noticed something white fluttering under his windshield wiper. His first thought was that it was a parking ticket or some kind of advertisement. He almost threw it away without reading it, but something about the childish handwriting on the envelope made him pause. When he opened it and saw the $5 bill, his hands began to shake. Michael read Lucy's note 3 times, each reading bringing fresh tears to his eyes. He looked around the parking lot, wondering if this was some kind of joke or mistake. But the sincerity in the child's words was unmistakable, and the $5 bill was real. For the first time in months, Michael felt something other than despair. This unknown little girl had seen his pain and had chosen to help, sacrificing her own savings to bring joy to a stranger's child. It was the kind of pure, selfless kindness that he had almost forgotten existed in the world. When Michael picked up Sophia from after-school care, he was still holding the note in his trembling hands. "Sophia," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "how would you like to go to the fall festival this Saturday?" Sophia's eyes widened with disbelief. "Really, Daddy?" But you said we didn't have money. Michael showed her the note and the $5 bill. An angel left this for us, he said simply. Someone wanted to make sure you could go to the festival. Sophia read the note slowly, her lips moving as she sounded out the words. When she finished, she looked up at her father with wonder. A little girl gave us her money? Why would she do that? Because there are still good people in the world, Mia, Michael said, pulling his daughter into a hug. And sometimes, when we need it most, they remind us that we're not alone. That evening, Michael sat at his kitchen table and wrote his own note on a piece of notebook paper. His handwriting was careful and deliberate, each word chosen with the weight of a father's gratitude. Michael's response note was heartfelt and simple. Dear Lucy, thank you for your incredible kindness. You don't know me, but you saw that my daughter Sophie and I were struggling, and you chose to help us. Your $5 means more to us than you could ever imagine. Sophia will be able to go to the fall festival because of your generous heart. I want you to know that your kindness has restored my faith in humanity. There are not enough people like you in this world. Thank you for being an angel. Sincerely, Sophia's dad, Michael Torres. The next morning, Michael arrived at school early and found Lucy's mother's SUV in the parking lot. He had asked around and learned that the little girl who had helped them was Lucy Patterson, a second grader known for her kindness and bright smile. He slipped his note under Jennifer's windshield wiper, hoping it would find its way to Lucy. Jennifer found the note. She was initially confused. She read it twice before the pieces began to fall into place. The mention of $5 and the fall festival made her think of Lucy's questions about the sad man and his daughter. When she got home, she sat Lucy down for a conversation. Lucy, did you give money to someone at school? Jennifer asked gently. Lucy's face turned red, and she looked down at her hands. Am I in trouble? No, sweetheart, you're not in trouble. But I found this note on my car, and I think it's for you. Jennifer handed Lucy the note from Michael. Lucy's eyes grew wide as her mother read the note aloud. She had never expected a response to her gesture, and she certainly hadn't expected the man to be so grateful. He really wrote this for me, she asked in wonder. He did, Jennifer said, her own eyes filling with tears. Lucy, what you did was incredibly kind and generous. But I'm curious, why did you decide to give away your doll money? Lucy thought for a moment, then said, the little girl looked so sad when her daddy said they couldn't go to the festival. I remembered when you told me that helping others makes us feel good inside, and I thought maybe my money could make her happy. I can save up for the doll again, but she might not get another chance to go to the festival with her friends. Jennifer was amazed by her daughter's wisdom and compassion. At 7 years old, Lucy had demonstrated a level of empathy and selflessness that many adults never achieve. I'm so proud of you, Jennifer said, hugging her daughter tightly. You've done something truly beautiful. The story might have ended there, but Jennifer felt compelled to share Lucy's act of kindness with others. She posted about it on the school's parent Facebook group, not to seek attention for her daughter, but to celebrate the kind of behavior she wanted to see more of in the world. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Parents shared the post hundreds of times, and comments poured in from people who were moved by Lucy's generosity. Local news stations picked up the story, and soon Lucy's simple act of kindness was being talked about throughout the city. But the real magic happened when other children began to follow Lucy's example. The story of Lucy's note spread through Riverside Elementary like wildfire. Children who heard about what she had done began looking for their own ways to help classmates who might be struggling. Teachers reported an increase in acts of kindness throughout the school, students sharing lunches, offering to help with homework, and including classmates who were often left out. Emma Rodriguez, Sophia's best friend, was particularly inspired by Lucy's gesture. She convinced her parents to sponsor 3 additional families so their children could attend the fall festival. If a second grader can help someone, Emma told her mother, then we should help too. The fall festival itself became a celebration of community and kindness. When Sophia arrived with her father, she was greeted by Lucy, who had been waiting to meet the girl she had helped. The 2 children became instant friends, bonding over their shared experience of giving and receiving kindness. "Thank you for helping." "My daddy and me," Sophia said shyly when she met Lucy. "You're the nicest person I ever met." Lucy beamed with pride, but she was also learning an important lesson about the ripple effects of kindness. "My mommy says when we help people, it makes them want to help other people too," she told Sophia. Maybe that's what's happening. Michael Torres found himself at the center of unexpected attention as news outlets wanted to interview him about receiving Lucy's gift. He was initially reluctant to speak publicly about his financial struggles, but he realized that sharing his story might help other families who were facing similar challenges. "I want people to know that there are families all around us who are struggling," Michael told a local news reporter. "We're not asking for handouts, but sometimes a small gesture of kindness can make all the difference." Lucy didn't just give. "Use $5. She gave us hope." The interview led to an outpouring of support from Michael and Sophia. A local business owner offered Michael a better-paying job with more regular hours, and several families in the community reached out to offer friendship and support. Sophia received invitations to playdates and birthday parties, helping her feel more connected to her classmates. But perhaps the most significant impact was on Lucy herself. The 7-year-old had learned that her actions could have far-reaching consequences, and she began looking for more ways to help others. She started a kindness club at school, where students could share ideas for helping their classmates and community. Jennifer Patterson watched her daughter's transformation with amazement and pride. "Lucy has always been a kind child," she told friends, but seeing how her kindness affected others has made her even more determined to make a difference. The local newspaper ran a follow-up story about the kindness epidemic that had started with Lucy's note. Teachers reported that disciplinary problems had decreased, while cooperation and empathy among students had increased dramatically. The simple act of one child had changed the entire culture of the school. Bloco. 6 months after Lucy left her note on Michael's car, the impact of her kindness was still being felt throughout the community. The fall festival had been such a success that the school decided to make it a monthly event, with local businesses sponsoring families who couldn't afford the admission fee. What had started as an exclusive event had become a celebration that brought the entire community together. Michael Torres had thrived in his new job and was able to move Sophia to a better apartment in a safer neighborhood. More importantly, he had regained his confidence and sense of hope for the future. He often spoke at community events about the power of kindness and the importance of looking out for one another. "One little girl changed my entire life," Michael would tell audiences. "She reminded me that there are still good people in the world, and that sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places." Sophia had blossomed as well, becoming more confident and outgoing as she formed new friendships and participated in school activities. She and Lucy had become best friends, and their bond had inspired other children to reach across social and economic lines to form meaningful connections. Lucy continued to lead by example, organizing food drives, collecting toys for children in need, and always looking for ways to help others. Her kindness club had grown to include students from multiple grade levels, and their projects had helped dozens of families in the community. The story had also inspired adults to examine their own capacity for kindness. Jennifer Patterson had started a foundation that provided emergency financial assistance to families facing temporary hardships, while other parents had organized carpools, meal trains, and support networks for struggling families. On the first anniversary of Lucy's note, the school held a special assembly to celebrate the impact of kindness in their community. Lucy was invited to speak, and she stood at the podium with the same confidence and wisdom that had motivated her original act of generosity. "I learned that when you help someone, it doesn't just make them happy," Lucy told the assembled students, parents, and teachers. "It makes you happy too, and it makes other people want to help. It's like throwing a rock in a pond. The ripples keep going and going." Michael and Sophia sat in the front row, beaming with pride as they listened to the little girl who had changed their lives. After the assembly, Michael approached Lucy with a special gift, a framed copy of her original note, along with a photo of Sophia at the fall festival. "I want you to have this," Michael said, "so you can always remember that your kindness made a real difference in someone's life." Lucy accepted the gift with tears in her eyes, understanding for the first time the full impact of what she had done. She had given away $5 and received something far more valuable in return: the knowledge that one person, no matter how small, could change the world. As the celebration continued around them, Lucy looked at the photo of Sophia laughing and playing at the festival, and she felt a warm glow of satisfaction. She had learned that kindness wasn't just about giving money or gifts. It was about seeing others as worthy of love and support, and being willing to act on that belief. The note that had started it all was now displayed in the school's main hallway, a reminder to everyone who passed by that extraordinary things could happen when ordinary people chose to be kind.